Mayor, there's no mechanism under the law to have taken this to the voters. Let's just get that clear. The tax levy law, Title 57 of the revised code, is very clear about the things you take to the voters. Things like street levies, fire levies, park levies, health levies, even a levy for a municipal band if you wanted to have such a thing. Utility charges are not covered under the tax levy law and cannot be taken to the voters. Now, I'm elected here to make decisions, and sometimes they're not popular decisions. And dealing with utility rates, and particularly utility rate increases, oh, would that we'd have things like lowering the electric rate ordinance that we had there, you know, we'd vote for those, you know, all the time. But, you know, here's a case where, you know, through an error, we repealed a charge that is absolutely essential. And so we are trying to keep the water department out of a very serious financial problem. Now, I haven't read the fine point on the loan for this project, but I know that there is such a thing called revenue bonds, or mortgage bonds, and what they are. There's not even fine print. It's clearly stated in some of these. And this may or may not be a particular case here, but if we would default on one of these, on payment of a bond, the bondholders can come in and seize the utility, in this case the water plant, operate it themselves, and charge whatever necessary to pay themselves back. Now that's obviously an extreme situation, but that's the kind of guarantee that's written into a lot of government bonds for utilities. So, you know, I don't like having to do this because, you know, a mistake was made, and some people, you know, the various coffee clutches that sit around at various restaurants in the morning, you know, they'll laugh at us, you know, because of this. Well, let them laugh. I don't care. But, you know, this is something that is our responsibility to do, to say that we should hand it off to the taxpayers by putting on the ballot, not the taxpayers, you know, the voters, is something that can't happen. So we shouldn't try to pretend that that's a remedy in this particular case.
Mr. Martin?
I completely agree with Mr. Gates in this. You know, one of the reasons that we do not have a democracy, but we have a republic, is because our founding fathers decided to entrust the governance in elected officials. And we do represent the interests of those that we serve. And there's not a single person up here at this table, or you, Mayor, or Finance Director, who doesn't take that charge of representation seriously. But there's no ability for us to take this directly to the taxpayers, but in de facto we have, in that we are making the decision on behalf of the city. We were all elected at this table by voters, and those who have a direct interest in the stake at hand. And they have put their confidence in us to make the best decisions possible. And that is the system of governance that we have set before us. And I intend to fulfill my obligation dutifully. I do not like voting for this repeal, but we are amending an error that shouldn't have happened, but it did. So we are amending it. And we are making sure that the utilities is in a better station because of it.
Mr. Robb?
I appreciate Mr. Gates' opinion, and but at the same time, I need to disagree. You know, what we're talking about is bricks and mortar and concrete and steel, and that constitutes, in my opinion, a building. And is it related to the utility cost? I guess in a stretch it could be. You know, you got to put the water somewhere, but is it really tied to the cost of manufacturing drinking water? You got to have it, but we've gone beyond that. I mean, we made improvements to that, we added to that structure, we've added to that. So in my opinion, it is a building, and just like this building, you know, the taxpayers had a say in that, and it's my belief they should have a say in, you know, what we do with our utilities buildings, our utility structures, and those kind of